Hi guys, this is Ravenclaw What If. Welcome back to another What If story. This is a redo of the What If Izuku Midoriya had a half and a half quirk. Because I didn't like how it turned out, so let's see if this one does better. So I wasn't sure if I know I messed up a little bit, so let's continue. Where we last left off, Izuku is done spending time with his father, Isashi. Though he gets a tale after he gets done cleaning up. Ah, dear. How was your time with your father? Izuku's like, it was very educational. I quite had a lot of fun. And she's like, oh, that's good, as Isashi walks in. Oh, hi, dear. Izuku was telling me all about, your quality time together. How did he do? And Isashi's like, he did excellent. I was quite impressed. He was very precise. That's my son, little champ, as he ruffles his hair. And Izuku smiles. I did have fun, father. Alright, after dinner, I have something to discuss with Izuku. As they finish eating dinner. Alright, Izuku. Tomorrow you won't be attending school. We have a little outing to do tomorrow. And Izuku's like, what do you mean, mother? And he's like, we'll talk about it in the morning. Alright, Ma, I'm off to bed. Night, Dad. As they hug Izuku. Inko kisses Izuku on the forehead. It's like, alright, see you in the morning. As he wakes up and, alright, Izuku. As he sleeps for the night. And Izuku gets woken up by his mother. Izuku, it's time to get up. Meet me in my office. Because they have a house, so. A decent sized house, so. Alright, dear. We're going on a little mother and son outing. We're going to go a little bit hunting. He's like, ooh, that sounds fun, mother. Who are we killing? And Inko's like, there's some low tier villains operating nearby in some sort of abandoned, building. They're causing too much heat around the area. We can't really work while they're around. Oh, so we're going to kill them. This is going to be fun. Yes, it is, dear, my little angel. Let's get going. As they walk in, that's all she's like, you're leaving already. Yeah, we gotta, deal with these insects. And, I thought she's like, very well, dear. He kisses Inko. And he's like, all right, son, look after your mother. And sorry. Izuku's like smiling. Yes, of course, father. All right, dear, let's go. As they, we're going to cut to All Might. He's like, you want to see me, Night Eye? Yes, I normally wouldn't call you because of what happened in the past, but this is more important. The disappearance between the civilian around this area. Yes, I've been investigating that for years. I don't know who's involved in that, but I don't know if it's one person or two. But they've been operating way too long. We need to bring them in. And, I was like, I agree as well. I had a vision, my foresight activated last night. I found the picture of the house. And he shows the picture of the house. Oh, I know. The basement. All I saw was the basement and the outside of the house. So he gave the description of the house with a photo. As, we cut to, Izuku and Inko. They're outside, We'll cut to them. And he's like, see, son, this is the place. Ah, interesting. Are we going to kill them now? And Inko's like, no, dear. We're going to wait a couple hours as we cut to Dobby. As he's like, who are you? Die. As she fries them as they disintegrated. Because she cremated them. And she started cremated, built, room from room. Then she gets it in the main room. There's several people, there's several of them in there. So as they surround her, she's frying and cremating as much as she can, but one of them sneaks behind her and knocks her out. All right, tie the bitch up. I need to find out if she's working with anyone. As that happens, they tie her up. All right, slap the collar on her. It's a quirk counseling collar. So we'll cut to Izuku and Inko as she's seeing. She saw the young lady frying all the villains. And he's like, that's quite interesting. I kind of like that. I kind of like that one. Never seen fire like that, my dear angel. And he's just like, yeah, I've never seen fire like that as well. Quite interesting. Should we go in now? I want to play. And he's like, let's wait an hour. Let's see what happens if any more shows up. And, more shows up. There's a whole group of them in there. So, it's like, as, as they begin their operation to, kill those low-tier villains, as Izuku, they both walk into the building, and, Inko cuts herself, and, there's 3 of them inside the main hall that, after they they showed up from the rest of the group, as she cuts herself and throws, 3 daggers, blood daggers, at the villains, hits them in the head, killing them instantly. And Izuku's like, excellent, mother. I always love it when you do that. And, Inko's like, thank you, dear. I always appreciate you praising me. It's always nice that you look up to your own mother. As, Izuku's like, of course, mother. You're the one who taught me everything I know. And, Inko's like, I know, dear. Come on. Let's continue. He's like, mother, can I kill the rest of them? I would love to play with some. And Inko's like, very well, son. I'll let you take over if that what you want. I can't say no to you, dear. All right. As, we'll cut to Dobby. She's woken up from being knocked out. And she's like, where the hell am I? He's like, well, rise and shine, fire starter. Who are you working with? As they're smacking her a couple times. Dobby's like, spits in the face. I'm not telling you anything, losers. Even if I worked with someone, I would never spill to freaking low lives like you. When I get out of here, you're dead. As they're laughing, I highly doubt that. We're gonna have our fun with you. Then we'll probably sell you off somewhere. As, the door breaks open. As, there's about, let's just say there's about 8. No, let's say there's, let's just say there's 8 of the group inside the building. In that room where Dobby is. Female Dobby. And, I'm gonna pause it real fast. I'll show you a picture. Okay, sorry about that. This is the female Dobby, the ginger man I'm doing. She's, not sure how old she is. I think she's like a little older than Izuku. So she's, this is what she looks like. So, I don't own this picture. There's a watermark right there. Right there. KRS. So I don't know who that is. Awesome artwork, but let's continue. We'll exit all this stuff. As the door gets sliced open, as Izuku the door gets sliced open. Inko, slice the door open using no, let's just say Izuku slice the door open as he throws a couple daggers at a couple of the villains' heads, as there's 8 of them, so he just he kills 3 of them, and the guy's like, who the hell is that? what are you doing here, kid? And they see, Inko behind Izuku. He's like, good job, son. I always appreciate your work when you've always been good at marksmanship. As Izuku's like, I know, mother. I've always been talented in that. But it's always good to, get praise from my mother. And, Dobby's like, what? Who are these people? They should get out of here. They're going to die. And, sorry. The last part I did, the redo, the first part of this, my throat's kind of hurt, so my voice is out of whack. Sorry about that. So, as you know, they're like, interesting. Don't know what type of quirk you got, kid, but we're gonna have some fun time with your mother there. And Inko's like, I highly doubt that. If somehow, by some unknown miracle, you get past my little angel, I will kill you instantly, you little insects. As Inko's getting kind of upset because she doesn't like to be talked to like that, and he's like, it's all right, mother. You told me I could take care of these new playthings. All right. As he pulls out a pocket knife, and he's like, what you can do is that, kid. That little butter knife is not going to do nothing to us. You can see you're way outnumbered. Izuku's like, you do have numbers, but you guys are idiots. It's time to play. As he cuts his wrist, and a pool of his blood starts spilling, and all the villains are like confused. So's Dobby. Dobby's like, what the hell is he doing? Because she's thinking that he's trying to commit suicide. She's like, that's not going to help. As he forms a blood katana as he swings it a couple times, and Inko's like, oh dear, I haven't seen you use that in a while. Yes, mother, I've always loved swords. I always find them fascinating. As he's examining the blade and swinging it a couple times, like, sorry, the balance is quite right. It's time to play now. As the villains start rushing, they're using their quirks. Izuku's maneuver around them. Very easy. As he starts slicing heads off. And, sorry. And, Inko's like, dear, don't let them surround you now. And he's like, yes, mother. As he unleashes a jar of blood. And as that happens, it hardens into blood spider web. As it cuts several of them in pieces, blood goes everywhere. As Izuku's like, that worked pretty well. And Inko's like, whoa, I didn't teach you that. I mean, yeah, I taught you the spider web, but I did not teach you that. And she's like, when did you start learning to do that? And she's like, I've been experimenting. I mentioned it to father when we were, playing with our house guests. As Inko's laughing. He's like, that's quite, it's always nice to be surprised. All right, dear. As Izuku's like, that's quite interesting. What is that? As he's killed all the rest of them. So he's like, that's quite an interesting collar. As Izuku walks over to Dobby, and she's like, what do you want? He's like, he puts a finger on her lips. It's like, shh, no talking, please. This is very delicate work. Who knows what type of collar this is? And he examines it, and he's like, I've seen these before in the news. These are quite recent. They've been using them to capture villains, mother. Oh, that's quite interesting, dear. Sorry, my voice is all out of whack. It's hard to get into the character now. As you know, let's continue this what if. As he takes off the collar and he's examining it, and he has a knife. As Inka's like, "All right, dear, like leave the poor lady alone," and because he has a knife stuck to her throat, and she's like, "Better get that knife out of mine, out. You better get that knife from my out, away from my neck, kid, or I'll kill you." And Izuku's like, "Huh, interesting. I like you. You have a backbone. Mother, can we spare this one? I like the look in her eyes." And Inko's like, "Yeah, I'm quite impressed with this one. I like the look in her eyes as well. She kind of reminds me of me when I was her age. Yes, let's spare this one. I like her." So he's like, Inko's like, "You take after me so much, more than your father does. You take after me more than your father. And that I'm quite happy for, my little angel." Dobby's like, "What is wrong with these people? They're very unhinged. And it's quite interesting. I gotta play this right. They'll kill me if I'm not careful." So, she's thinking that in her head. And we're gonna cut to All Might. As All Might breaks through the door with Izawa and Night Eye. As he sees Asashi, cleaning up, hearts. Not hearts, but he's cleaning up heads in a sink. And he likes to keep them clean. So, he's like, "Stop there, villain. We know what you've been doing here." And, Izawa's trying to capture, Asashi. As Asashi, freaking throws knives at Izawa, All Might, and Night Eye. As, he jumps out the window. Like, after him. As, Night Eye goes after him, and Izawa's like, "Leave it to Night Eye. We need to get, make sure we got the right person. Considering we caught him red-handed, but we need to check if there's more evidence." And as you see pictures, like, my God, he has a family. He's like, let's not judge a book by its cover. We don't know if the whole family's involved. You see a picture of, is Inko and, young Midoriya. And it's like, he even has that sick bastard even has a son. Makes me sick. Let's investigate. There's nothing here because we haven't checked out the basement. This is where they find all the heads. The family targets more than women. They target, people in general. And the other side of the basement is a jar full of hearts, where that's Inko's prizes. As, as that happens, it's like, my God, these people are sick. As, like, the cops come in, they're like, we're going to cut to, Night Eye and, Asashi. Night Eye's like, there's nowhere to run, killer. And, Asashi's like, "Yeah, about that. I think it's time to, go our separate ways." As Asashi, has like a little, like a little smoke bomb. Because Izuku, always creates devices for his family. Just in case, they get caught. As Asashi, throws the smoke bomb as Night Eye's like, "Where the hell did he go?" And Asashi jumps to the wall, and he's like, he jumps in the manhole. As, he's in the sewer system now. As he closes up the manhole, Night Eye doesn't know where he is. Damn it, I lost him. Eraserhead. Yes, Night Eye. He's on the intercom. I lost the perk. what did you find at the house? You should come and see this for yourself. It's pretty sick. As in, like, the cops are already there gathering the evidence. And All Might's already had he had the, what do you call it? He had the papers to break in the house, so, he's not breaking the law. So, I was just like, I finally get there. My God. Are this whole family involved in this? And, it's always like, so, did your premonition tell anything else about the family besides the house? And no, it only showed the little bit of the basement and the outside of the house. Nothing else. We don't know if the whole family's involved. But apparently, judging by how many victims there is, and God knows how many that's been reported, they most likely been active for a very long time. As we cut to Asashi calls Inko, sweetheart. Yes, Asashi. We have a problem. They somehow found out. They raided the house. And Inko's like, what do you mean, dear? Where are you? I'm in the sewer. I'll be laying low for a while. You guys don't come back to the house. It's unsafe. I don't know how they found, but All Might erased her head, and Night Eye came by, and Inko's like, all right, dear, we'll start laying low as well, as Dobby's hearing this, and she hangs up the phone, and it's like, change of plans, dear, sweetheart, my little angel, we can't go back out of the house. And he's like, why, mother? The house got raided. Somehow they found out. I don't know how, but your father is laying low. Is father all right, mother? Yeah, he's fine, my little angel. It's time to collect our prizes. As Dobby's still, Midoriya has still the knife to her throat, and Inko's like, sweetheart, stop that. That's very unpolite. All right, mother. It's your lucky day. I like you, so I won't be killing you today. So, he's like, he goes out and starts ripping out the hearts as Inko hands him the hunting knife. Dear, use that. That'll work a whole lot better. And he's carrying a book bag, and there's a small ice box in there. Here, dear, put them in there. As they're collecting hearts. Dobby's like, so what are you, like some sort of vigilante group? And he goes like, no, I'm nothing like that. We're a different breed. But nevertheless, I guess we need to get going. Wait, mother, I don't feel she needs to be released at least. And that's fine, dear. As Midoriya, unties Miss Dobby, young Dobby. He's like, very well, we'll be leaving now. As Dobby's like, hold up a minute. Considering how you saved me, and it seems like you're in a tough situation, I have a safe place where you guys can stay. Considering you saved me, I'm not a total bitch to, leave you hanging. You kind of saved my ass. You could have killed me, but you didn't. And, he goes like, yeah, my son has taken a liking to you. And Izuku smiles at her, like, yeah, I'm quite fond of her. And he's like, so does my little Izuku baby has a crush? And Midoriya's like, Mom. And they laugh about it. Dobby's a little bit, she laughed a little bit because she's a little bit nervous, but, because, the Midoriya family's kind of nuts. So, they get back to the house, to Dobby's house, like, make yourself at home. I normally don't have visitors. there's a couple beds. Just, try not to, go outside. Because most likely your faces will be plastered all over the news as, but, she had a TV on. It's like, reports of several dead, like, deceased people at a family home as they plastered all their faces, even Midoriya's. If you have any information of these subjects, please contact, us immediately. Do not engage. These individuals are extremely dangerous. They've hunted down several innocent civilians over the years, unknown to how long they've been operating. As the news station update, shuts off. Dobby shuts the TV off. It's like, all right, there's a couple beds, like I said. Make yourself at home. I'll get some food ready for you guys. You guys must be starving. So, Midori's like, so what are we going to do, Mother? We don't know. I don't know yet, dear. We're going to lay low, find your father, then we'll go from there. This is where we're going to cut it off. Hope you guys like it. Have a good night and day. Judging my time zones. Bye.